Welcome everyone. We are going to start with Unit 2. The topic of Unit 2 is hard disk drive and controller and DVD drives. So we are going to start with Unit 2 and this is Lecture 1 of Unit 2. Before going in detail, we are going to start with some kind of introduction. So primary memory is expensive as well as limited. We already know there are two types of memory. One is primary memory and other one is secondary memory. Primary memory is volatile while secondary memory is non-volatile. We already know all this. So to store small amount of data, we have primary memory like RAM and ROM. But for storing a large number of data or large amount of data or programs permanently, we need a cheaper and permanent memory. So that kind of memory is secondary memory. The secondary memory is used to store the data permanently in the computer. The secondary storage devices are usually hard disk drives. This is the most common type of storage device that is used in almost all the computer system. The other ones include the floppy disk drives, the CD-ROM and DVD-ROM. All these are secondary memory, but most commonly we used is hard disk drive. These are the characteristics of secondary memory. It is non-volatile, it is large, it has a large capacity, and it is cheaper as compared to primary memory. So we have already seen this classification in previous unit, that is last lecture. Secondary memory is divided into two parts: fixed devices and removable devices. Fixed devices are further classified as hard disk drive and CD drive. Removable devices are pen drive or Blu-ray disc. All can be USB connected with the help of USB connector. Now starting with hard disk drive. So disks are used to store user information that we already know. Now a hard disk drive, sometimes it is known as HD hard drive or HDD, is a non-volatile and data storage device. It is usually installed internally in a computer attached directly to the disk controller of the computer's motherboard. Means it is directly connected or installed on computer motherboard, or with the help of some cable it is attached with the computer's motherboard, either directly or with the help of cable. It contains more than one platters. Disk platters. What is disk platter? That we will see later on. Housed inside a air-sealed casing, means number of platters are there in a single case. Data is written on these platters using magnetic head, which moves rapidly over them as they spin. The internal hard disk reside in drive bay, connected to the motherboard using an ATA, SCSI or SATA cable and a power cable to the power supply. Means to transfer the information, we require these kind of cables like ATA, SCSI or SATA, and to give power we need power cable, that is for power supply. One more thing, the hard disk drive is the main and usually largest data storage device in a computer. The operating system, software titles and most other files are stored in the hard disk drive. So the hard disk drive in your system is the data center of the PC. Means everything is stored on hard disk, so it is known as data center. It is here that all of your programs and data are stored between the occasions that you use the computer. Your hard disk is the most important of the various types of permanent storage used in PCs. A hard disk is, I already told, it is sealed in a single casing, and data is written on platter, that is with the help of read write head. Now here you can see what is the need of hard disk drive. To install operating system, a hard drive is required. Means where we are going to store operating system. Operating system is permanent or temporary. The answer is it is temporary. You can install number of operating system, even you can erase it and install fresh operating system, so it can be stored on hard disk. The storage device provides the storage medium where the operating system is installed and stored. A hard drive is also required for the installation of any program or other files you want to keep on your computer. For example, any application file you want to install, then it is installed on hard disk only. Also, when you download some file, then that is also stored on hard disk, and that is stored permanently. Once you switch off your computer, but that doesn't mean your data is going to erase. It will be gained again as soon as your computer is switched on. Now, can a computer work without a hard drive? Without a hard drive, a computer can turn on and post. Means computer can turn on and it can start post, that is power on self test. Depending on how BIOS is configured, other bootable devices in the boot sequence are also checked for the necessary boot files. Means you can boot it from USB also, or it can be boot from flash drive also, or it can be boot with the help of network also. So without hard drive, your computer can work. Next, you can see hard disk drive components. Here you can see, first of all, starting from base case casting. Spindle, this is a spindle motor which rotates, and when it rotates, the whole platter is going to rotate. Then slider, this is a head. This header is used to write the information on the platter. This is also known as actuator arm. The tip is known as head. This is known as actuator arm, and this is known as actuator axis, and this is actuator. This actuator head moves to and from like this. Means it starts from reading and writing here, and it will end reading writing read and write up to here. So it moves like this. Here it is showing SCSI interface, that is connector, jumper pins, power connectors, tape seal, ribbon, cable attaches head to logic board, then case where everything is mounted, and cover mounting all holes. So leaving everything side, the main important parts, or you can say components, are head actuator, then read or write actuator arm, then read write head, spindle, and platter. On the back of hard drive is a circuit board called the disk controller or interface board. Means this is the disk, but on the back side there is a kind of circuitry that is known as disk controller. This circuit is what allows hard drive to communicate with the computer. Means without any circuitry, we are unable to read or write or transfer any data from hard disk to computer and from computer to hard disk. For that purpose, disk controller is there on the back side. Starting with read write head, a hard drive uses magnetic media and works by using the write head to polarize sections of the hard drive to face north, up or down to represent either 1 or 0. Means where the face of north is up upsides. All these are 1 and south is downside, then this kind of bit is 1. When the north face is down and S is up, then the number bit is stored is 0. Actually, the hard disk is already having the space that are polarized, but while writing, what happens? The electric current is changing the polarization. So uh, consider that 10100010 it is already written, and here the blank space is there. Blank space is, it is actually shown that this is blank space, but something is already written. So when the north face will be up and south face will be down, then one will be embossed on it. Means here you are changing the polarization. Then if you are changing polarization, means either you can say magnetized or demagnetized. When the north face up position is there of electric current, then it is known as magnetized, and when you are magnetizing any space, then it is the bit is stored as 1. And if you are demagnetizing, means your north faces down, then it is known as demagnetization. So basically, magnetization and demagnetization are the two words for 1010, or you can say 1 or 0 bit in binary. In this figure you can see already 1010001001 is written. So north face up and north face down. So where north face is down, the bit embossed is 0. Means this is demagnetized and this is magnetized. North face is up, and whenever if you want to store here as 1, then what happens? The magnetization of this place takes place, and the deep polarization, uh, or you can say the uh, polarization takes place, means it changes the direction of electric current. So from S to N it will flow from S, not from S to N, means not down, it will flow from S to N, that is upside, and your data will be 1. Next is actuator. Actuator, the part of hard disk to which read write arm attaches. All the heads are attached to a single head actuator, also called as actuator arm, that moves the heads around the platters. Means there are number of heads for read and write purpose, but to attach all read and write arms, we need one common thing. So that is known as actuator. So now platters. So magnetic metal or ceramic disc located inside the computer hard drive that holds the actual data is known as platter. Platter, you can see in this figure, it is the shape of CD, or you can say DVD, and it is made up of two kind of metal, that is substrate material and magnetic media coating. Substrate material keeps the platter rigid, and you can say strong, and you can say hard, and it forms the bulk of platters, while magnetic media is useful for actually holding the magnetic impulse. You can say magnetic impulse means that magnetized or demagnetized data on this magnetic media coating. So substrate material is for this physically appearance and physically existence of the platter, while magnetic media is for logical representation of data on the. Now next, coming to spindle motor. The spindle motor also sometimes called as spindle shaft, and is responsible for turning the hard disk platters, allowing the hard drive to operate. The spindle motor is sort of workhorse of the hard disk. It is it must provide stability, reliability, and consistent in turning power of thousands of hours of on continuous use to allow the hard disk to function properly. Then, in fact, many drive failures are actually failures with the spindle motor, not the data storage system. Spindle motor keeps the current going on the hard disk for number of we can say thousands of hours of continuous use so that it can work properly. These are the references, and thank you.